Because if you can cultivate that presence thing, if you can cultivate the ability to sit and actually pay attention to what's happening around you, you'll notice that you never run out of shit to talk about because there's always things happening. It's the moment is all that there is, really. And you're never going to run out of it. There's always something here. And if you're open to finding something compelling, if you're actively looking for it and choosing to believe that if it's compelling, then it's meaningful, then you can almost always find something to say.
Welcome back to The Loft. My name is Rich Vocals, and today we have a relentless, intelligent, creative human being. But before we introduce this special guest, we're going to introduce the room. We have the one and only Abby on the audio.
Hi, guys.
Yes. Yeah, she's taking over the audio. Like, you're Kate Twist, you're Josh Graz. You're just amazing today.
Thank you. I got this. I'm going to hold it down.
You got this. But the man of the hour, the man of the drive, the man with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
The one and only Dean Batten. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yeah, I'm a comfortable kind of tired. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's dope. So, how's your day so far?
Day so far has been interesting. Woke up this morning and before I came riding over here, I'm a little bit late today because I had to change my drive shaft oil on my bike because without getting too much into the nitty-gritty details, like I discovered a new thing about a motorcycle. And that's always fun. It's just unpleasant when it happens.
You've had a motorcycle for a while too, right?
Yeah, I've put about like 75,000 miles on my 2010 Honda Shadow in like 5.5 years.
Let's get into why you have so many miles on that motorcycle.
Well, I put them all on myself.
Yeah.
Except for that first 5,000 or so.
Yeah. Because you traveled the world.
Well, America.
Let's just say the world for right now. Now you traveled America. You
sure
traveled America.
Americans would love for you to say that America is the entirety of the world.
But yeah, it's definitely American to say, right? No, it's the whole world. It doesn't get bigger than this. Yeah. But you traveled all of America performing your music.
Yeah, that's why I'm so tired.
Original music.
Yeah.
So what got you into music?
Finally quit smoking, so now I'll live forever. See my future hanging there like a weight, like a feather. Either way is cynical, and either way is fear. Feeling good, don't feel too good. There ain't no pleasure here. Didn't go out drinking the way I made it seem. Putting on a personage I could polish until it gleamed. My 7 fathers all. It's I guess it's probably just sort of my family. Like my parents, on paper, probably never shouldn't have gotten together. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't make no sense.
Okay.
But so like my dad's side of my family, they're all like alternative, like biker people, rock and country music.
Yeah,
and, you know, like I have a family member who legally changed his first name to Iceman.
Iceman.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of people living on like like mountain farm homesteads way out in the middle of nowhere in Virginia.
That is actually hilarious.
Yeah, and so like my mom's side of my family, they're all like Southern Baptist church musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm the amalgam. I'm what happens when those two kind of disparate camps start to cross-pollinate. I'm the Tangelo of human beings.
I love it.
So,
yeah.
So like my mom, she retired like a year ago. But she was a church musician, a music minister for her career for like 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And her dad was a music minister as well. And so that side of my family is like deeply musical, but it's all very like Protestant Jesus.
Yeah.
And my dad's the only Christian left in his family, and he converted to Roman Catholicism. Like, I got my aesthetics and my method of kind of life approach and my kind of way of thinking about a lot of things from my dad's side of my family, and I got this kind of an undercurrent of spirituality that's been growing in my life since I started to pull my head out of my ass, and my music stuff from my mom's side. And so I've been playing music all my life. So
what was the first initial reason why you created a song? Was there like a heartbreak? Was it a love?
Couldn't help it.
You just started to.
Yeah, I kind of just couldn't help it. Like I just thought it was the coolest thing ever and wanted to do it. And like the first like 100 were dog shit. Just totally bad.
Do you remember your first song?
You're not gonna milk that out of me. Not for all the tea in China, brother. Not happening.
Do you remember it though?
I do. It was this kind of pop punk drivel. It was bad.
Yeah.
It's very not good.
So what is your favorite genre of music to make? Because I also, to give us a little backstory, the way we met was so authentic and like genuine. I went to a coffee shop. I try new coffee shops often.
Yeah.
And I went to I forgot the name of the coffee shop. Do you remember?
Binks.
What is it?
Binks. BYNX. It's
Binks.
Orlando.
Beautiful atmosphere.
It's a great place.
It was just a great place. So I go to this coffee shop just to try something new, and Dean pulls up, and he pulls up with his motorcycle, and I see him through the window, and we look at each other. We both say, "What's up?" We don't know why we said "What's up," but we just said "What's up." Like there's so many other people there, but me and him just "What's up?" And then he comes in, and we just started a conversation, and from there we like hit it off. Like it's like I knew you for a while, the way we hit it off.
It was, I don't know, I felt like some about the way that you were looking at me through the window. I was like, oh, I've met him before. What's his name?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I better say hey. Like, thankfully, I guess, like we didn't know each other.
Exactly, because that would have been messed up. That would have hurt if you forgot my name.
Yeah, it was a fun little platonic meet cute. It was a good way to start the friendship.
But that was dope because we just started hitting it off, and I was like, what you doing here? And you straight up said, hey, I'm performing tonight. And I was like, performing? I didn't know there was a show here.
Yeah.
Also Binks, beautiful show. Everybody that performed, even the lady that performed with the mouth trumpet.
Oh, Alamore.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, no, she was incredible. That was a fun show.
Yeah, she's a Grammy Award winning.
Yeah, Grammy and Latin Grammy nominated. I don't know if she's won or not.
Yeah. She's nominated. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if she won or not. She might have.
But she killed it. But I was just telling Abby about how when you performed, you were the first act. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And all the eyes are on you, but your confidence when you went onto the mic was so calming. You might not like to say
totally phoned in.
Like it was so calming though, because when you got there, you started off performing off rip, but then I like how you do a little talking piece right after, talking about the reason of a song was created or when you came about this song. So I applauded you right then and there. I stood up and I was like, yo, that's my boy.
Appreciate that.
And you gave me a little shout out inside the performance.
I mean, I don't know. I've always thought that the performance thing was kind of weird. I don't know if either one of you has noticed this about being alive, but like, it's almost as though given enough time, every preconception will be undermined. You guys picked up on that? Because that's kind of what it feels like for me. And I used to hate it, but now I've started to.
What do you mean by that? That's a loaded statement.
It's a statement that could be interpreted in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
But to try to keep it brief, like, you think one way as a child,
yeah.
and because it's the way that you're thinking, you don't even recognize that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's unconscious. It's something that's before your awareness of it. And as you get older, if you're lucky, you start to catch Either some variety of experience will come into your life that totally undermines the way that you were thinking about something, or the way that you were approaching the world, maybe at base.
Yeah.
And if you can learn to kind of surf that and start looking for those things, seeking them out, it can alter your perspective in totally irreparable, but fingers crossed, positive ways. And so performance is one of those weird things, because the first performances I ever saw of music were in church contexts. It's my mother with a lot of hairspray and in a pantsuit singing Go Tell It on the Mountain, and conducting a choir of a bunch of old people singing Go Tell It on the Mountain in some church, and a lot of very stodgy white people sitting in the middle, bored to their fucking tears. Then I found out about rock music and saw punk and metal bands, and screamo was a big thing. I was an emo kid. If you can picture this, this with the fringe over the eye, eyeliner, cuffs, like wristbands and a choker. I had bleached hair. I used to rock the blowout in high school, where you spike up the back, and it's been a nightmare. And but then I found out about rock music, and that gave me a completely different idea of what performance is. And then I started getting into hippie shit and psychedelics and other stuff. And then just got really into whatever sort of salvaged media from the 60s and 70s counterculture thing that I could find. And I started to put it together that there's no such thing as performance. There is no such thing. Like, anybody that truly believes they're performing is performing, or they're putting on what we could call like a snow job. They're casting a glamour over the minds of the people in the room. And I think that there was a time and place where that could be helpful, because illusion is helpful for creating a sense of space. But I think the job now for artists is to try to do almost the exact opposite, because so many people, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started, when we were setting up, at least in America, so much of what's happening now is no one has any fucking idea what's real anymore. We've completely lost touch with what it actually means to be alive and to be a person, and what being a human being means, and what other people are, and what this whole thing is. And I think art has there's a double-edged sword to it, because it's part of what created the problem. But within it might just lie the solution. Because if an artist can be tastefully and safely vulnerable on stage or in their work, it can actually code reminders of what it is to be a human back into the work. And because I think we're too late. It's too late now to undo it. What we've got to do is we've got to do something else that is better. That's the alternative.
So in a simple sense, you're saying we lost touch.
We've been progressively losing touch for like 120, now more than that. I don't know if we ever really had touch, because it would be a massive assumption on my part to be able to say whether we did or didn't. But I feel like somehow,
in the general sense of what we understand as touch, we lost the sense of that, is what you're saying.
Like we lost the connection to living spirit, might be another way to word it.
And when you perform, you believe that is what then?
That's a good question. I can tell you what I'm trying to do, or at least what I'm on now, which is very different from what I was on a couple years ago with my performance, and way different from what I was doing in my early 20s and my teens. What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to, in my own life, in my own heart, in my own soul, my own mind, I'm trying to reestablish some kind of connection to, you could call it God, you could call it living spirit. That's the one I like. You could call it the Tao, Buddha nature, whatever. And I'm trying to find a way to settle into this thing that we're doing by being alive, or at least this thing that I'm doing by being alive, and just to be present with it. And then through a construction, because that's what music is. Like, you sit down, you write it. that's a whole other conversation how that happens. But
Yeah.
like, you make music, you sing, or you write lyrics, or
Yeah.
you write a guitar part, or wail on a harmonica, and it conveys an emotion.
Yeah.
Or it conveys, another way to think of that is that it conveys a state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how art created the problem.
Yeah.
But it is also the way that art can help to usher in the solution, because it is the fundamental problem is that we were operating in a malfunctioning state of mind.
So you say art, in its overall sense, is it connected to emotion?
Being. And emotion is one side of being, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was very deep.
Sorry,
trying to understand.
yeah.
But no, I liked how you. It's a different take of what you try to convey when you're trying to perform.
Yeah.
Because when I was also watching you perform, it's not just a performance. Like, you're talking to us to paint a picture of how you were working with your dad, or it was your dad's birthday, I believe. It was someone's birthday, and how you were. I felt like I was in the room with you. I felt like I was there with you.
Yeah.
Before you performed the song that you were about to perform, I thought I could see the whole room. I could see the whole thing going on. Right. And then when you performed, I was like, oh, wow, that was beautiful. And then you whip out the harmonica, and I'm like, okay, like, what else can he do?
Nonsense?
What else can he do? But I love that you feel so. I think what you're saying is very true to your statement. A lot of people just talk with no examples. I feel like what you just said is true, because when you speak in that moment, you're literally in the moment. Like, nothing else is moving, nothing else is going on. And when you speak with so many pauses, everybody's
Hang on the pauses too.
Yeah. Everybody has attention towards you.
Yeah.
So we are in that moment. There's no rushing. There's no clip. There's no TikTok 6 seconds trying to soundbite you. It was truly. I wrote this song because I was on a motorcycle and I saw the sun rise.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and
exactly
I'm like, all right, so what were you feeling? And then you come out with, Daddy.
Yeah.
No, it's literally what you do, and it's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate that, and so that's what I'm trying to do when I'm on stage, or when I'm writing, or the art thing I'm doing in general. I'm trying to convey presence, and you can represent that. But the real nut of it is trying to be it.
Yeah.
And that's way harder.
Have you been in a writer's block?
I've dealt with it. I think every artist does this. I've been writing songs for like 14 years. Mm-hmm. Rapidly approaching 15 actually. And I turned 28 in like less than 2 months. So at the end of March I'll be 28 years old.
Yeah.
I know I look like I just got out of high school, but I've been doing this a minute. And I think every artist struggles with the writer's block thing, and that's probably why I started trying to find the ways to shake my preconceptions. Because when you get too settled into a certain mode, you start running out of ways to talk about it.
Yeah.
and so that's why, whether it's in 5 grams of mushrooms in the woods surrounded by coyotes, or riding I can tell that story. That's fun. But or riding a motorcycle for literally 12 hours or something. And
so that's what gets you out of the writer's block.
Yeah.
Or helps contribute to that.
Or at least those are the obvious ways that started to shift it.
Okay.
In the last year, I've been actually practicing my spirituality, which used to be more hypothetical. So like meditation, chanting. There's an ancient Indian text called the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm not going to sit here and proselytize about, but like it's a book that I've been kind of returning to for years, and I'm finally starting to get the courage to really put some weight on that foot, and because mostly it was just posturing for the majority of my life thus far. And because if you can cultivate that presence thing, if you can cultivate the ability to sit and actually pay attention to what's happening around you, you'll notice that you never run out of shit to talk about, because there's always things happening. It's the moment is all that there is, really. And you're never going to run out of it. There's always something here. And if you're open to finding something compelling if you're actively looking for it and choosing to believe that if it's compelling, then it's meaningful, then you can almost always find something to say.
That was beautiful. Question for you. Do you have a favorite song?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Welcome to the Loft.
I can probably give you like 2, 3.
Give me your top
I'll
2, top 3.
I'll cover my different ends.
Okay.
In no particular order.
Yeah. Why Don't You Come Inside?
What?
Is that one of the songs? Why Don't You Come Inside?
Oh, are you talking about my songs?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about just like a favorite song in general.
I mean,
I was gonna
if
say,
that's
like,
how you took it, go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay.
But Why Don't You Come Inside? Great
no,
song.
it's Would You Like to Come In?
Would You Like to Come In?
Why Don't You Come Inside sounds like a very different song.
Would You Like to Come In? Still sounds like the same scene. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Would You Like to Come Inside, I feel like has a subtitle of Because I'm Scared To.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, there it is.
But Would You Like to Come Inside? Beautiful song, peaceful song. What's your top 3 songs overall?
Top
though?
3 songs.
Yeah, overall.
Oh, okay, probably
Not your songs in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chopin, spelled Chopin. Nocturne. It's Opus 9, number 2. That one's really good.
Okay.
Then probably the opening track to A Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
Okay.
And third is probably Desolation Row by Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. So, how do you feel about mainstream music? None of those songs are mainstream
Not
music.
fondly. I find mainstream music, and I'm not in the mind, heart, or control room of any of these major artists.
Yeah.
But I just never felt the resonance. I never got it. And I try. Whether it's mainstream, any subgenre, like rock or pop or hip hop or whatever. I've just never quite been able to get into it. Like, I say that I like jazz a little bit, and people think I mean Michael Bublé, and I'm like, no, that guy shouldn't put out music. But that's just my take. That's my opinion. I just don't like it. I've never liked it.
You don't do it to be within the in crowd or within. Music to you is not an in-crowd thing. It's a true emotion for you.
If I ever wanted to have a living, I'd probably embrace it more.
Hey.
I should embrace it more.
I think that
I've always had a wrestling match with that.
In my opinion, I think that what you're doing is your beautiful lane, bro. Like, I
appreciate that. Thank you.
I've met people that have touched on your sound,
sure,
but no one that has been so fully indulged into it where I can gather an emotion from it. So
I appreciate that. Actually, that's a really high compliment.
No, it really is. Like, and you're really good at it as well. Like,
I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Like, your lyrics are nothing that's just. Your lyrics are never going to be, from my opinion, are never going to be, I love her. You're going to paint it as to, I saw the way she cried and it made me feel like I was crying with her.
Yeah.
And that's different.
It's funny. I use lyrical conventions a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm trying to not be cheesy. When I use them, I try to subvert them in some way or undermine them. And so it'll be a love song. It'll be like an out and out overt love song.
Yeah.
Like Sinatra could do this.
Yeah.
But it'll have some element in it where it's like I think it's because I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist. I can't help but bare my ass a little bit.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I'm trying to be tender, or sensitive. I'm always just by the way, I'm a piece of shit and everything sucks. I can't avoid.
I hear you.
So, but no, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that,
of course.
That means a lot.
Okay, so what are your top 3 songs that are personal?
Oh, that I've written. It's a Beautiful Day, which is at the tail end of an album I put out a couple years ago called Aries. It's the last song on that record. I really like that one. And so It's a Beautiful Day. Probably Would You Like to Come In?
That's a beautiful song.
That one I like not only because I like it as a piece of music, but that one actually resonates with people. A couple of years ago, I had a shift of my mind about music, and I kind of finally put it together that this very obvious and necessary truth that art is a communicative exercise.
It is.
It's something that you're doing to try to communicate to other people. And if they don't get what you're trying to communicate, that's not their fault. That's yours.
Exactly.
For years, I think I was pretentious without even meaning to be. Like that, I think a lot of people take like pretentious hipster artist types as like they're doing it deliberately. It's like, no, I couldn't help it. and I had to grow out of it to start learning to really speak to people through the work. Yeah. And so Would You Like to Come In is one of those, like, it was an experiment when I wrote it. Almost every song is an experiment. And then that one worked, where like people were like, yeah, I like that feel that one like I'm putting that in my playlist because I'd like to keep it in my feed. It's like, okay, I'll take it. That's cool. And so the next, like the third one, probably a song called Dino's Lament, which I played at that show.
You did.
That one, I call it my litmus test song when I play it live because it's very divisive.
Yeah.
But it's basically about like the serious possibility of nuclear Armageddon ending all human life on this planet.
Did not know that.
Well, if you listen to the lyrics, like the opening line is, they still got the bomb, right?
That's wild.
That's the opening line. It's like, they still got the bomb, right?
Yeah.
We're so close to total murder-suicide. That's the opening lyrics to the song. And like,
that's crazy.
Like, I'm not being covert. It's
it's
overt.
straight there. I didn't. Well, you probably sang it in such a way I missed it.
Sure. Yeah, but so I like that one because it's one of those. I don't want to be like a political songwriter because I feel like it's almost a
box you in.
It's not that, but it's also, I don't want to be a political songwriter because I find that it's a box, but I also don't want to be too afraid to talk about anything political because both of those are. If you lay a line like, I'm not talking about this, then you preclude it from the human experience, which is the whole job of artists, is we're supposed to talk about being a person. And because it makes the whole process of being a person easier to digest for everybody who's into receiving art. And so I wrote Dino's Lament because it's not about like, hey, you guys in power should put these bombs away. I mean, it's a little that, but that's the obvious take. The chorus of the song is like, so what would you like to be doing when the shockwave hits? Like, what would you like to be doing when the immediate end of everything comes? What would you like to be doing? It's a valid question, isn't it? Yeah. And it's something I think everybody should sit with, because if you notice, it's actually not a different situation than you were in before you knew about the bomb. Death is coming for everybody.
I think that plays a part in most situations in life. So that's fair.
Exactly.
That's fair.
And if you use that as kind of your margins, you can keep yourself on the right track, which is not being productive for the sake of productivity. It's not being comfortable for the sake of comfort. It's like, what do you want your life to include? Because you have a certain ability, not total, but you have a certain ability to exercise some kind of executive control over that. Yeah. And the more you choose to look at that hard question of like, what would you like to be up to? Yeah. When the bullet comes and blows the brains out the front of your skull, what would you like to do? Yeah. In that moment. And like, my answer in the song is like, well, I'd like to be with my lover, or I'd like to be doing this, playing music and singing for people. And it's very simply, it's that. It's like, I'd either like to be with my partner, or I'd like to be making music. And if I can be doing both on a motorcycle high, that's better.
Hey, shout out to you. Sounds like a beautiful part for yourself. What is the goal for you?
The goal?
What is your musical goal for yourself? Like, what's the next step now?
The next step now is to try to. I'm signed to Raised Eden Records here in Orlando, and so the next goal is to put out a piece of work. I've been working with Jordan Morales from the label. He's kind of acting as producer, and I've never really had like a producer as such before, and so it's to put out the goal with music is simple. I just want to put out work that I feel is good. Yeah. I'm just trying to impress myself. It's very hard. And the broader goal is like, I would like to have a music career where I'm, touring, maybe even actually in a vehicle instead of on a motorcycle. Yeah, I hear you. Like in a bus maybe. That would be sick. And to be playing and trying to help people live a richer life through their engagement with my art, because that's why I like music, I guess, is that I feel like it makes my life richer.
I love that.
Yeah, it like makes everything more colorful, more beautiful. It's been my solace, my therapist, my spirituality for before any of those other things were formalized. Before I ever had a therapist, or before I even really had a spirituality, music was it. And before I was into mushrooms or pot, it was the thing that made everything a little brighter and a little more colorful.
Okay.
And so music, it kind of is its own end for me in a way.
And is life more colorful to you now?
Oh, much more. Like I went through like depression and actively tried to kill myself for a minute, and came out of that. And it's been a long 20s, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a long 20s.
Are you grateful for life now? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because I finally started to turn on to what being alive is, as opposed to what I was told being alive is.
What is some advice you would give to someone that is going through a rough 20s, like you said yourself?
Be not convinced. Be not convinced. Don't believe what the people around you are saying, but also don't believe what your own mind says. Be not convinced. Because your mind is probably your worst enemy if you're wrestling with that the way that I was. And it's largely coming at you in ways that you don't see.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Because if you can see it coming, it's very easy to defend against. But if you think it's you,
how do you defend it? Yeah.
And so that was my problem. Like, I was a dog shit person. I was just bad to the people around me. Anybody that tried to love me, I was very, very gross to. And I was even grosser to me. Like, you know. We don't need to get into
we don't got to
detail,
get into
sorry.
But be not convinced.
Yeah, but be not convinced. And, well, okay, this is corny. But I'm an exhibitionist, so we'll do it. One of my favorite poems is by a horrible person.
It's your lock screen.
Yeah. It's my lock screen. This is not someone to admire in many ways. And it's definitely not somebody to idolize or model yourself after. It's a poet, a writer named Charles Bukowski.
I do not know who that is.
Awful person.
Okay.
Awful person. Great poet. And this is a good poem.
Okay.
So it's called The Laughing Heart by Charles Bukowski. And yeah, it's my lock screen. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more life there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you.
Okay, that was deep.
That's my advice.
That was deep.
That's my advice.
Well, I have some personality questions for you now.
Oh, shit.
Are you ready?
Hit me.
Would you rather a week of warm nights or sunny days?
Warm nights. I'm a night owl.
Are you?
Yeah.
I am as well.
Nice. Creatives usually are. Fun.
Yeah. Would you rather... I was going to ask a question. I feel like I know the answer. What is your favorite cereal?
Favorite cereal?
Yeah.
Damn. The Special K with the strawberry and yogurt.
I love that. It's healthy.
I'm a middle-aged woman.
Love that. Okay. And what's a question in your life that you want answered?
Question in my life that I want answered.
It's a loaded question.
You're a bastard, dude. Question in my life that I want answered. No. I actually don't think there is.
There isn't a question.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Because, like, yeah, I actually can't think of one.
That's
Not
a
really.
good thing.
Yeah.
You're not living in a life of questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think the reason is because I know some of the answers already.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, no, I don't. Actually, I don't think so. No.
Did you have fun on the loft?
Did I have fun? Oh yeah, no, you guys are cool. You let me ramble, and that's my favorite. Like anytime somebody doesn't ask me to shut up in 5 minutes, like then I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. So.
No, I'm happy. Where can they find you?
I'm all over the place. Just ideally not smeared on the interstate. You can find me TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Dean Batten Broficial. I know it's dumb, but it's fun. And deanbatten.com, and I'm also all streaming platforms and Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, etc.
Beautiful.
Yeah. 2 YouTube channels. There's the one where my distributor uploads the records, and then there's the personal one that I should post on more.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I love how authentic and quickly we could have done this interview. So.
Yeah. No, I was late. I'm late.
But like overall, the sense of the longevity of us being friends,
sure,
having the show happen, this is beautiful.
No, this is cool.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and also do something nice today. Do you have any advice for people to do something today?
Actually, doing something nice is cool. Try to remember that everybody you meet is also going through a human experience. That's the best way to be nice.
I like that one better.
No, it's literally the same thing.
It's the same thing, but that was real.
Yeah, it's the same thing. But I'm overly verbose, so that's.
Look at this guy. I'm overly verbose.
Overly verbose. Yeah.
All right, The Loft, and we're out.
Finally quit smoking, so now I'll live forever. See my future hanging there like a wave, like a feather. Either way is cynical, and either way is fear. Feeling good, don't feel too good. There ain't no pleasure here. Didn't go out drinking the way I made it seem. Putting on a personage I could polish until it gleamed. My 7 fathers all shook their heads, and the 7th was in tears. Secondhand never fits too good. There ain't no pleasure here. Did my best, Bob Dylan. Did my best, Cobain. Yeah. Just like everyone I've met who imitate in vain. The body is a vehicle, and I'm just grinding gears. There's nowhere else there I can run, but there ain't no pleasure here. There's nowhere else that I can be that ain't where I'm at. So I just tuck in, accept my skin. Loving you is beautiful. I can spare a couple years. Kissing you feels pretty good, even when there ain't no pleasure here. Loving you is beautiful. I can spare a couple years. And kissing you feels pretty good, even when there ain't no pleasure here. I could wrestle with the weight of a very human past, where the birds are singing and it's spring at last. Even as we move to autumn, I feel something is reborn, like pulling out a jacket you forgot you'd ever worn. And when I start to miss you, I go back to the woods. All that dappled sunlight seems to do me good. I live close to the ground, and that is where I sleep. And when I kiss another, they don't ever find me. They may not ever find me. Pissing on a rattlesnake or laying in the evening, talking to a butterfly who don't mind when I'm leaving, running into town to get the things that I might need, like charging up my phone and hey, the fellas gotta eat. And as I start to miss you, I go back to the woods to watch the sun pass the horizon. Seems to do me good. I live close to the ground, and that is where I sleep, and dream about a world where you are not with me. They may not ever find